listen, I'm a fan of both of your work, but there's going to be people out there that have never seen it. So if someone has never seen anything you've done before, what is the thing you want them starting with and why?
Oh, that's a great question. Start with, I guess, casual. I don't know if that's a great indicator of what I do, because I did kind of come into this business as a comedian, but I loved that show, and I think it's just I think that is a great show. So I think if you're going to introduce yourself to my work, start with some great writing and a great cast and great directors. It's all indie film directors on Casual, and starting with Jason Reitman, who produced it, and I think it's like a great show because it sort of centers a brother-sister, but the sister's in her 40s and with real woman problems, not bullcrap women problems. And it's very honest. And I was very proud of that show. I don't know what to say. It's 4 seasons of fun, but yeah. What would you go with?
I mean, I guess I would go with Succession.
Obviously.
Yeah, Succession or Inventing Anna.
Yeah.
I mean, in 7th grade, I did, I'm kidding. And there's a VHS of it floating. You got to find it.
I was in a chorus in Music Man.
It was called Give My Regards to Broadway. It was a review.
Arian, I have a question for you. How hard was it for you to get inside the role of an insecure actor?
Very easy. Super duper duper fast, quick. I mean, to be honest, it's being an artist is just full of insecure. I mean, I don't care who you are. Like, I've had the great privilege of working with Robin Williams, and I saw his insecurities. You know, like, everyone's got it because we're always trying to strive to be better, no matter where you are. And so along the way, as good as you might think it's going, you're like, oh, wow, I really sound like that. Wow. You know, I was just saying that I'm in a play right now, A Doll's House. And sometimes in the middle of the show, I'm like, well, everyone realizes that I'm a fraud. So it never ends. That feeling never ends.
God, isn't that something?
So crazy.
Isn't that something?
Isn't that nuts?
I come from improv and sketch comedy as well as theater background. And I was doing a show recently, and I had to be backstage because it's been a while, and I was afraid I was going to go out there and really just, crap the bed. And I remembered, I know how to do this.
Yes.
Like I've put in my 30,000 hours or whatever they say, like I can do this, but I'm like, how is it that I've been doing it this long and I still have to like pump myself up to go on stage,
Totally.
Yeah.
I find it so fascinating. I've spoken to so many actors, and I find it fascinating that no matter how high up on the food chain, you're always thinking about it. But maybe that's what keeps you,
That's what I think it is. Actually, I think it's a real hunger for trying to try to get better. Do you know what I mean? And just, and the older you get, more vulnerabilities are put out there, and more insecurities can be tapped, so that's what I think.
It's almost like if it stops being scary.
Yeah, I think
are we done?
Yeah, I think you're done.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I'm a huge fan of Nicole's work, and I am very curious. What is it like reading her scripts for the first time and seeing the way she's able to it's unbelievable how she is able to portray these real relationships and, so honest and complicated. And I'm just curious what it's like reading that on the page for the first time.
I mean, I get tickled, like genuinely tickled. I'm like, because it's like the insight and the nuance of characters, relationships between characters, her observations. Like you can tell Nicole is sort of, who is that guy on 60 Minutes who was always like, what I don't like?
Oh, yes, that guy, David.
No, it was always like
the
talking
last
like
segment.
Yeah, exactly.
It was. I wanted to say it was.
I want to say Andy Rooney.
I know his name.
Is it Andy Rooney?
It might be, yeah. Like
it is? Okay. Yeah. Like I feel like that's a character in Nicole's brain. It's like, what? And so there's all these tiny little observations that she makes throughout her film where I'm like, it's so true. Like I never throw out my underwear. Because there's a line where I say he even throws out his underwear. She's like, you don't? And I was like, it's true. Like if I spent a pretty penny on a pair of underwear, I don't care if it's 40 years old, I still move it from house to house or apartment to apartment, never wearing it. But I was like, that was expensive. I should probably keep it.
Hold on to that one.
One of the things about this film is that you're filming in New York City. And I'm curious, what is it actually like filming in New York City? Has the city reached the point where like they no longer, care when you're walking by with a camera? Do people actually, you know what I mean?
Totally. 100%. We were shooting outside of Paragon, and some gentleman who was wearing a mask at the time, but it was like, we were like, please, the PA is like, please, can you move out of this shot because this won't work? And the guy said, move to a studio.
I was impressed he knew at a studio.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, well, it was, and then we're like, okay, well, New York, here we go, baby. I mean, that's the beauty of shooting in New York. On location in New York is just the most exciting, dangerous, insane, especially if you have no money.
Yeah.
Then it's really like, good luck out there.
Yeah.
It's just a fun, like, experiment.
A walk and talk where you're stepping over dog poop. And,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And people are just giving you the finger.
Yeah, that must be nice. I definitely want to know, what do you think, for each of you, what do you think happens to Beth and Dawn?
I think they get superpowers and then take over the world. And, they're sort of like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith kind of thing.
Yeah,
right?
That's exactly what's going to happen next. That's we don't want to spoil it, but that's, you hurt my feelings too.
I think quite honestly, I think they work through something, and if I were to guess, it's a fight that's going to resurface probably 2 or 3 times, and it's going to escalate because it's always going to be like, well, except for that time that you lied about. Are you lying to me now about my hair like you did about my book? I bet that's going to happen.
But amazingly, I think actually both of the couples are like really great models of what a good relationship could look like. Because I think they will work. I think that will happen, but I don't think that they will break because of that.
Yeah, it's not
I think
a
they will
deal
keep
breaker.
pushing forward. Yeah. And I think that's what's so kind of magical about both of the couples.
I think there's a lot of love.
Yeah.
Between the couples in this movie.
Yeah.
A lot of love here, a lot of love there. And I just think and a lot of love between the sisters and the brother-in-laws, which is very sweet, and the kiddo.
Yeah.
Our mother, despite her fuzziness, like there's a lot of love in this movie, even though everybody seems to be quite pissed all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think one of the things is that all the people in the movie communicate very well.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunately some relationships are not like that, but
that's right.
Communication is the key to everything.
Yeah.
It's my last thing for you. And it's Michaela, I'm just curious, what is it like reading in the script? You're going to do a walk and talk and also have to eat ice cream, because the ice cream, that's not one take.
Yeah, that's great. I have no problems with eating lots of ice cream, if that's your question. I was a little bloated later. I am lactose intolerant. But but I didn't care. And then Nicole would come in and be like, are they just going to throw it out? And then she would take her big mouth and just shove my ice cream cone into her mouth during COVID. It was great.
Wait. Everything about that is amazing. Listen, I have to stop with you guys. I just want to say the movie's fantastic, and I hope it's a huge hit. And thank you for giving me your time.
Thanks
so much.
Thank you so much.